I'm here at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine with Dr. Byram Karasu, who's the chairman of the Department for Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences. Dr. Karasu is also the psychiatrist-in-chief in the Montefiore Medical Center here in New York. And he's probably best known for his work on spiritual psychotherapy, a new domain that he started in research and in practice. His work spans about 4 decades, maybe more, of research practice. He's a teacher, a prolific author, a scientist, a therapist, and many more things, and held many different positions. So I'm honored to be here with you today. Thank you for taking the time to talk.
Thank you.
I want to start by asking you kind of the question that I'm guessing you're being asked the most, and that's about science and religion. I can see on one hand, reading your books and some of your papers and knowing your work, that it's an attempt to marry, on one hand, the centuries of knowledge we have through science and research about human well-being and thoughts and feelings with the millennia of knowledge we have through different spiritual traditions and religions about the very same things. But there's still that, at least on the surface, that apparent or possible contradiction between scientific method that demands proof and between perhaps any spiritual aspect of anything that requires a leap of faith, basically, and does not demand proof. So how do the two things settle together in spiritual psychotherapy, and in particular in the research of spiritual psychotherapy?
When people talk about science, they talk about the physics, chemistry, math, of that kind of science. And then the subject usually comes down to, can you prove there is a God? That's where the controversy starts. Instead of looking at the sciences in humanities, there's no conflict there, in a sense that religion is not the same as the concept of God. The science of religion has to be, why do we have religions? That is a scientific question. What purpose did it serve? It wasn't always there in this highly organized fashion before the Judaism or Buddhism. I mean, at best, it has a history of 5,000 years.
Yes.
Prior to it, there was some religion of some sort, some concept of God, the need to believe something greater than yourself. Someone, maybe going back to your childhood, knowing that your parents are bigger than you are, more capable than you are, and they can save you, help you in some fashion, protect you. Somewhere, somehow, the concept of God emerged before the religion as organized as it is right now. That concept is not mutually exclusive with social sciences or the science of psychology.
I have a quote here with, I think this is from the introduction to The Spirit of Happiness, that says, "Only by being godly can you be strong and successful and find joy and happiness and live an extraordinarily meaningful existence while leading an ordinary life." So I have two questions about that. One is just about strength. What is the importance of strength? And is it really kind of where to start when someone looks to transform their lives and they don't know which direction to go? Is it the first thing to do? And how should they go about it, if it is? The second question is about the statement about leading an ordinary life, which I agree with. I think is important. But why is it?
Let's start the second one. We all news media, the magazine, the movies, the TVs, already presenting an extraordinary life. Mm-hmm. Everyone's beautiful, everyone's handsome, everyone's rich, everyone's involved in some major events.
Yes.
In fact, in 99.98% of even those people's life is really ordinary life. They have to go to sleep, they have to get up, brush their teeth, right. They have to have breakfast, they prepare for children, they have to take them to school and come back, and they have to go someplace and set up their system to interview someone. And they're just ordinary aspects of one's life. But to find extraordinariness in it, to make it, is what the strength is. Not always dreaming one day to be Freud for a psychiatrist,
Yes.
or a famous movie director in your case, or interviewer. And it isn't. It is just acceptance of life as is, without cutting down the ambition. Wishing for what you have
Mm-hmm.
is what a sign of happiness. Wishing for what you have, not what you don't have.
Right.
The strength is a combination of many things. One of them is yourself being glued together. You as a person exist. The elements of it, what makes you I don't mean narcissistic I,
Yes.
but the sedimented I that does not get fragmented under stress.
Okay.
The minor anxiety or garden variety neurosis of all type exists in every human being. Mild depressions and little phobias and certain handicaps, psychological. But the real strength is to be able to tolerate the anxiety. When you're driving your motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
you're actually exposing yourself to potential danger. It's a strength.
Right.
And you could get scared to the point that you say, this is too dangerous, and take the next bus home. But you have a job to do. You're doing it not just for fun, which you could do for fun too. But you have a job to do, you're going to do that. Fragmentation of the self usually comes from the stresses and inability to cope with that. That's all it comes down to that. Whether a soldier that's end up having post-traumatic syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
or whether a professor cannot get tenure and get depressed.